Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Engelstein, and I'm the designer of Super Skill Pinball. We're very excited to be able to release to the public a free print and play table from the base set. The full game is going to be coming out in November, but because of the current circumstances, we thought that everybody might enjoy just giving this a shot and being able to play some pinball from the comfort of your own home. All you're going to need to do to play is you're going to print out one of these pages from the print and play. That's just one sheet. Each player is going to need their own copy of this sheet. So if you got 4 people, just print it 4 times and you'll be good to go. It'll work fully in grayscale. We've kind of grayed out some of the colors here to make it easier on your printer. The actual game, this is going to be full color artwork on the table, but since most people will be printing this at home, we just wanted to make it easier for everybody. You're also going to need a pencil, something to mark on it. If you want to get fancy and you're going to play this a couple of times, I have laminated this sheet. I have a laminator here, and I'm using a dry erase marker for this demo, but it'll certainly work with a pencil and an eraser. You are going to need to erase stuff, so don't just use a pen, otherwise you're going to need multiple sheets and keep redoing it. It's going to be a mess. You're also going to need 2 dice. That's total for all the players, not 2 per, but each player is going to need 2 tokens to represent the balls. Normally only 1 is going to be in play, but if you get multi-ball, you're going to need a second token for that. I'm using these blue beads here. You can use dimes, pennies, cubes, whatever is going to work for you. It's not really important as long as you have some place to mark where the ball is. So the object of the game, like all pinball, is to get the high score. In this version with the print and play, normally the scoreboard is going to be a separate little piece. For this, we just integrated the scoreboard over here. So the way you're going to start the game is you're going to take one of your balls and put it up on the start spot here, which is where it's going to shoot out of the plunger. And you're going to mark off here that you're on ball number 1. When you've used all 3 balls, your game's going to be over. So to start each turn, you're going to roll 2 dice. We got a 5 and a 6 here. And when you shoot up, you're going to go, and you have to go down the different zones of the board. So first, we're going to be up here in what's called the Ferris wheel zone. So you can either choose the 5 or the 6, and all players are going to share the same roll. So every player would have a 5 or 6, and just because I pick a 5 doesn't mean that you can also pick a 5. Everyone's just playing independently. So in this case, the 5 or the 6, I have to mark off a 5 or a 6 in this top zone. So I'm just going to mark off this one. It's 5 or 6. We'll mark off that. It's the same in this case, so there's really no option at this point. So that's the end of the turn. That's the whole thing. If you get all of these marked off, you're going to get a bonus. I'm going to explain what that is in a second. So new turn, we'll roll the dice again. So this time we got a 2 and a 6. Now the rule in Super Skill Pinball is after each roll, you have to move down a zone. This table has 4 different zones. This is the Ferris wheel zone, then we've got the bumper zone, the target zone, and the flipper zone. So since we're here, we're going to have to move down to the bumpers. So a 2 or a 6, I'm going to take a 2, so I get to mark off this box here, and that's going to put my ball on this bumper here. Now you see it says every time you mark off a box, you get a star. Stars are points. There's no stars for this first zone, but the bumpers, you do get a point every time you hit it. So I'm going to mark off one of my stars right here. So I've got 1 point. So I'm well on my way to victory here. So I'm going to roll again. So I got a 1 and a 5. Now, I said here that you have to move down a zone each time you roll. The one exception to that, well, the flippers are an exception, which we'll talk about in a second, but the bumpers are a special exception on this table. So normally with the bumpers, you could always move down, or if you can move to the next bumper going clockwise. That's what these purple arrows represent. So in this case, if I had gotten a 3 or a 4, I could have moved over to that bumper and marked off one of those 3 or 4 boxes, and then I would have gotten another point, then maybe a 5 or 6 or 1 or 2. So if I get lucky, I might be able to stay up in these bumpers for a while, bouncing around. You have to move. So if I had rolled like here, I got a 1 and a 5. If I decide I want to use the 1, I can't just stay on this same bumper and mark off the 1. I have to move down. And a 5, I would have to go against the arrows. Now you see that there's white arrows here. I'm going to explain those in a second, but there's a special bonus that you can get that'll let you activate those white arrows. So now I'm on this bumper, I rolled a 1 and a 5, so I'm just going to move down to the next zone. So if I use the 1, I have a choice of taking this red target here, or this yellow target, and the 5 will give me that yellow target, or this red target here. I'm going to take the 1 or a 2, I'm going to take this one here, I'm going to cross that off. And that's going to give me a star. So I'll mark that off. But also it's going to give me a chance to get a bonus. So if I get sets of things done, I'm going to get a bonus for certain of the features. And all of these are explained in the rules, but just to run through them here, we've got 3 of these yellow targets, 4 of the red. If I get 3 yellow targets, there's a couple of bonuses that I can get here and that are over here. And the red ones are here. I'm going to explain in just 1 second. Let me just take one more turn. Ooh, double 3s. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to have to take a 3. And again, I have to move down now to the flipper zone. So you'll see here that there's a couple of different things. The 1s and the 2s are outlanes. The 1 and the 6, you'll actually lose the ball if you have to use the 1 or the 6. If I take the 2 or the 5, and I didn't get either of those rolls in this case, I'm going to get 2 stars. But if I take this one, it's going to roll right down under this bumper. If I get a 5, I can take this one, and it's going to roll right down to this bumper. In this one, I'm going to take a 3, and I have a choice of taking this 3 up here, or I can take the 3 here on the yellow flipper. I'm going to take this red one here, just for fun. And I mark that off. If I take the 2 or 3, see how they're together here? I have to mark off the whole box. Now, when a box is marked off, you're not allowed to use it again until it gets erased. I'll explain how things get erased in a second. So now my ball's on the red bumper, red flipper, no points for catching it on the flipper. So we'll just go on to our next turn. 3 and 4. Okay. So now I have a couple of choices of where I can go. Now you'll notice that there's a red flipper and a yellow flipper. The color of the flipper controls where you can go to from that flipper. So we talked about every turn you have to go down. That's true until you get to the flipper. Once you get to the flipper, you can go back up the table to any zone that flipper can reach. So the red flipper can reach the red targets, which are the bumpers here, these targets here, and also these special bonus targets, which are the feet of strength. You're trying to use the hammer to ring the bell. The way that those work is you have to hit them in order. So you have to hit the 1 and then the 2 and so on all the way up to the 6. The 1 gives you no points, but if I can get all the way up to the 6, that'll be worth a big 20 points. So that's a really big bonus if I can work on that one. In this case, I got a 3 and a 4. I want to go back up to the bumpers. So I'm going to use the 4. So I'm going to go back up here and mark off a thing here. Go again. I got a 1 and a 5. Okay, so now I can go around the bumpers here. I can use this 5. 3 and a 5. So now I'm going to have to come back down. I'm going to go here. And I get another point. Now, I didn't mention before, the red flipper can hit these red targets. If I'm on the yellow flipper, I can naturally just hit the yellow targets. The yellow targets are these things here. The bumpers are yellow, and I can also shoot it through this slot and get all the way up here to these Ferris wheels. So let me just put it on the yellow bumper, 1 and a 3. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. So now I'm on the yellow flipper. So now let me talk about the bonuses, and then you'll basically know the rules of the whole game. I'll just go over a few other things. First, let's talk about the yellow one. So if I can get a 5 or a 6, I will complete this set. So when I take it, I have a choice of 4 different bonuses here. So first one, it may be a little hard to read, and I apologize, but you'll see it once you get the set, is called Flipper Pass. So Flipper Pass means that regardless of whether the ball is on the red or the yellow flipper, you can hit any target on the table. So it gives you more flexibility. And that one lasts till the end of the ball. You indicate that by marking that when Flipper Pass is active. Next is fill 2 of the hammer spaces. So we talked about the hammer, 1, 2, 3. So if I get that one, I can mark off, say, that, and then I need a 3 to get the next target, and I get the stars that I'd mark off. So in this case, if I got that bonus, I'd get 1 star. Next is multi-ball. I'll explain multi-ball in a second. And then the last one here is you just get 2 stars. Now you'll notice that these first 3 bonuses are in double lines. That means you can only take them 1 time in the entire game. But this last one here that has 2 stars, I can keep taking that over and over and over again. Every time I get these 3, if I want to, I can take the 2-star bonus. The red bonuses are, first one here is bumpers, 2 double points. So instead of getting 1 star for a bumper, I get 2. Plus this bonus also activates the white arrow. So I could go back either way. So from here, a 5 or a 6 will move me here, and a 3 or a 4 will move me here. If I go here, these outlanes here are worth double points. I'll explain what those, the 1 and a 6, do in a second. Well, I'll explain it right now. So what those do is if you go down here on like a 1, you lose the ball, but you do get 2 stars for every one of these 2 boxes you have marked off. So if I have all 3 of these boxes marked off and then I lose the ball down this way, I'm going to get 6 points. If I have that bonus active when I lose the ball, instead I would get 12 points. This next one is another chance to get multi-ball. You can have multi-ball 2 times in the game. And the last bonus here is 3 points. So you get these 4 targets, you get 3 points. So those are all the bonuses. There's also a special bonus up here. Let me roll and take my turn now. I'm on the yellow flipper. So I got a 1 and a 4. So let's say I want to take the 4. So I go all the way back up here, and I take that. Now, you'll notice I've got 2 of these crossed out. If I get this last one, a 1 or a 2, I get what's called a skill shot. You can see all the skill shots over here. So if I come back up here and I get this one, I would erase all of these to show that they all pop back up again. And I get to pick any of these numbers. I could say pick the 3, okay? Then any time in the future that I want, after I roll the dice, I can use this 3 to basically pretend one of these dice is a 3 instead of what's actually on the die. So skill shots are really nice to have. But you can only have 1 of each number. And once you use them, use them, they're erased, and then you can earn that same number again. So let's keep playing a little bit here. I got the 1 and the 4, the 3 and the 6. I'm gonna come down to this 3. Get a point. 1 and a 6, so now I can keep going around the bumpers. I can go to this one, get another point. 2 and a 5. Oh, can go back up here. Hey, doing good on the bumpers. I need a 3 here to stay up. Okay, because only the 3 is open. So just because I got a 4, both my 4s are knocked off on that bumper, so I can't use it. So I have to go down. But I did get this 5, so that's going to be really helpful because I can go here now, which is going to get me this star. And now, whenever you complete a set, you erase them. So remember, I have an eraser. Plus, I get to pick one of these bonuses. And I'm going to pick multi-ball because everyone loves multi-ball, and I get to explain how it works. So when you start multi-ball, you get your second ball, and you put it back on start, just like you did with the original ball. Now I have 2 balls in play at the same time. So now when I roll the dice, I got a 3 and a 4. One of the dice has to get the 3, one of the balls has to get the 3, and one of the balls has to get the 4. So it's a little bit harder to control and get exactly what you want. But the flip side is that while you have multi-ball, while you have both balls in play, every single point that you get is doubled. So you can really rack up a lot of points. If you can get that 20-point bonus and time it for when you're getting multi-ball, you would get 40 points just for hitting that. So let's go this. So I'm going to say, let's look what we got here. So I'm going to do this ball with the 3. So now I don't have the 3 target here. You must color in a box every single turn for a ball or else you lose it. So you can always pass through a zone. You never have to stop in a zone if you're not happy with it. But in this case, I want to stop here. But for example, I could bring this ball all the way down to this flipper and put it like on the 4 if I wanted to. There's very rarely a reason to do that, but sometimes you do want to skip zones. Like if I really, really wanted to get a target on here, I could skip all these zones and just hit it if I needed to hit it. In this case, I'm going to use the 3 for this ball, and I'm going to go to this bumper. Boom. And that, I'm sorry, I get 2 points, right? Because it's multi-ball. That means I need to use the 4 for this. So I'm going to go and do this 4 down here on this yellow. And I get no points for that. So now a 1 and a 2. So I'm going to bring this one up to and I'm going to use the 1 for this. And I can't use a 1 or a 2 here. So I'm going to bring the 2 and I'm going to knock off this target down here. So that's going to give me 2 points for this. And now I get my skill shot. So I'm going to erase all these. And I'm going to say that I'm going to take the skill shot of a 1. Okay, go again. 1 and 5. So now I can use 5 for this. So I come down here, I get these 2 stars, but they're going to get doubled to 4. And here I get 1. I'm going to move to this bumper, and I get 2 points for that also. So I'm already up to 18 here, so I'm making good progress. So that's really all the rules in the game. Now, if you get to a point where I can't color in a box. Okay, so let's say, for example, the situation is like this. Like, let's say I only have 1 ball and it's like this. I've used up this. And let's say I roll double 5s. When this ball comes down, it has to come down. I have no 5 here and I have no 5. I have no 5s available at all to color in. So in that case, I would lose the ball. And then to start the next ball, I'm going to mark the second ball. And you erase anything that's in a dash line. In this table, the tables are all different. In this table, it's just the stuff down here by the flippers. So all these boxes would erase. And also if I had any of these bonuses active, the bumper bonus, the outlean bonus, and stuff like that, those are all in a dashed line as a reminder that they all expire at the end of the ball. But everything else up here stays the same, right? So my bumpers are all kind of sort of used a little bit. I'm working on this target and so on. So sometimes by, keep trying to set up your multi-ball bonuses, stacking your multi-ball bonuses with your bumper bonuses, those are all strategies that you can use to try to maximize your score. I keep my skill shot that I had from last time and so on. So that's it. The only other stuff to know is that the bumpers, as it says here, they get erased when all 12 of these bumper boxes get filled in. And a reminder that you can't use a box and you must fill in a box every single time. After you've lost your third ball, then you just compare scores with your opponents and see who has the highest score, and that person is the winner. If you're playing by yourself, then you can just go for your high score. One last rule that I would like to explain here is this nudge box. You may want to save this for your second play. It's a little bit more advanced, but if you're a gamer, and you probably are if you're watching this video, you can give it a shot. Nudge is basically banging on the side of the pinball machine to change it. So let's say, for example, I'm here and I got a 1. Okay, well, let's say I got a 6 and a 2, right? And I really want to get to this 1 space, okay? To finish off that bumper. Let's say I've got all these filled in, and if I can get that last one, I'll get to erase all the bumpers, but I got this, and so I'm gonna have to move down. If I want to, I can change these numbers to whatever I want. That's called nudging. The way that works is you decide, okay, I'm gonna change this 2 to a 1. You wanna keep the change as small as possible. You'll see why in a second. So I'm gonna change this 2 to a 1. So I only changed it by 1. So I put a 1 in the nudge box, and I mark off one of my nudges. The nudges are in double lines to show that you can only take those each once per game. So I only have 3 nudges for the entire game for all 3 balls. So in this case, I would move to the 1. I'd get that. I'd get my points, which I'm not going to mark off. I'd erase all this stuff. But now for the next roll, if I've got something written in the nudge box, I'm in danger of tilting. Now on the next roll, you're going to roll, and you're going to look at the difference between the 2 dice. If it's less than the amount that you nudged, then you tilt. And when you tilt, you completely lose the ball, the machine shuts down, and the ball is just over. You're just done. So that's why, you could change a 6 to a 1, but it's pretty likely that you're going to be less than that. So let's see if I can avoid rolling doubles here. Okay, I did. 6 and a 4. So now I could go here. I get to take the 4, and I keep moving around my bumpers. And I erased the number so that I successfully nudged and I did not tilt. So nudging can be used in a variety of situations. If you're really just trying to get that last target or get into multi-ball or save a ball or something like that, it can be really useful. They are pretty valuable, but they're a bit of a risk. So, play with them carefully, but you can use them strategically. So that's the game. As I said, it's going to be coming out in the fall with a more deluxe full color set, but certainly in terms of the playing of the game, this is exactly what it's going to be for one of the tables. The final set is going to have 4 tables. This is the carnival themed table called Carnival. There's also a like a cyber punk hacking table called Cyber Hack, which has a little mini game associated with it where you're rating the corporate data to try to score bonus points. There's one called Dance Fever, which has got a little mini pinball table in addition to the main table where you try to stay out on, it's called the dance floor. You're trying to stay on the dance floor as long as possible. And then the most complicated table in the set is called Dragon's Lair, where it's actually like a little mini role-playing game where you can level up by doing certain things. And as you level up, you get to learn spells, which let you activate multi-ball or get certain bonuses or manipulate the dice and do various things. So you can get all these tools. So I'm very excited about the game coming out in the fall. So I hope that this ties you over till then. And I would really like to thank WizKids for coming up with the great and gracious idea for just putting it out there freely for people to hopefully keep themselves a little bit entertained during this time. So thanks for your time, and I hope that you enjoy it.